So that brings us to something we addressed last year, the fear factor. So like I said, when we started this program, the federal rules were amended in 2006, and in Alabama, the rules were amended in 2010, and on December 1st of this year, the federal rules are being amended again. We have the ABA, several states, now making learning about technology and ethical obligations. So we're 10 years into this. There are plenty of resources. There are opinions that have been issued. There really is no excuse anymore for not being educated. A year ago, we did a program called Have No Fear. You can actually find the 60-minute podcast on the Roundtable website. It's a public resource. It's free to listen to. But when we hosted that program, we did a survey as people were registering, and we covered the results of that survey at the end of it. And as it turned out, these were the results. Most practitioners, and that includes attorneys, paralegals, judges, their biggest fear was the cost of eDiscovery and the technical terminology. And obviously, several people had multiple fears. You know, I've been entrenched in this for 10 years. Paul's been in it a long time. And I'll be the first to tell you, as far as the technical terminology, you can go to the Roundtable website, and under Public Resources, there is a link to the Sedona Conference eGlossary. It will take you directly to the Sedona Conference website. You register for it. It's a free download. It is a 60-page document that contains every possible ESI term and definition that you may or may not ever need. And I highly recommend everyone download this, print it, spiral bound it, carry it around like a Bible. You want to use this with your interrogatories, request reduction, deposing your expert witnesses. You know, and there's a couple of organizations coming out with some new terminology, but go download that document after this program today. And that'll take care of your technical terminology fear. And as far as the cost of eDiscovery, again, through education and thought leadership, the vendors have developed better technology, and we've really driven the cost of eDiscovery and some of these services down through the vendors. You're pretty much at a point where you are going to need a vendor to help with collection and review. But again, we've gotten so advanced now with the technology that we've been able to drive the cost down, so it's reasonable. Actually, there was a case in Nevada in August that I was talking to another panel a couple weeks ago, where the court said that the risk of litigation needs to be considered as a business expense going forward now. So, but if you need recommendations, any one of us can help you with that, and there's vendor resources on our website as well. There's a company named Xtero. They actually create software that are the vendor's license to come help you. And they did a really good survey earlier this year, and actually they interviewed 22 judges. Judge Ott here of the Northern District with us in Birmingham was actually one of the 22 judges that responded. And in that survey, it turned out 100% of the judges completely agree that attorneys do not possess the knowledge they need to effectively counsel clients on eDiscovery matters. Out of 193 law schools in the United States, currently 125 do not offer any form of an eDiscovery course, and those that do follow traditional case law teaching methods, not teaching practical application. This insufficient knowledge leads to some of the things that Judge Putnam and Paul have already been discussed: a lack of cooperation among attorneys, miscommunication among counsel, and obviously extensive litigation. You know, and again, I just want to iterate, the resources are there. We're 10 years into this. We've got a thought leadership group, and there's just really no excuse anymore to have these issues. These are several organizations. Obviously, the Roundtable does education, but there's several national organizations, the Sedona Conference, Electronic Discovery Institute. They help practitioners understand the science behind eDiscovery and the technology. EDRM, I recommend go looking that up. They have developed several frameworks that help us understand the flow of information and application through the eDiscovery process. And then you've got ALM, Legal Tech, which several of us go to every February up in New York. The American Bar Association has a technology conference every year, and there are several local organizations too. So Matter of fact, this link here at the bottom of the page, every year I go through the calendars for all of these organizations and find out what the dates are that they're hosting annual conferences, so that I know how to plan the roundtable programs around that. And this year I decided to just go ahead and put all of those on my own calendar and give you access to that as well. So if you go to this link right here, it'll give you a list of all of the major conferences by all of these organizations you see here, so that you can plan for 2016 accordingly. These are some news sources and social media feeds that I recommend. Not necessarily anyone else involved in Roundtable endorses or does not endorse, but these are the sources that I personally follow. So if you follow me on LinkedIn or Twitter, you're going to see me retweeting things like this and posting things. We have some people writing blog articles for Roundtable. But as far as LinkedIn, if you're not using it, I recommend go ahead and really kind of take a good look at your profile and start following some groups. You don't need to follow a bunch of them. You need to pick about 3 of each. We have plenty to do in our practices, but in order to stay abreast and keep up with what's currently trending and going on in the field of eDiscovery, I recommend these LinkedIn groups, these Twitter feeds, and I highly recommend Lit Support Guru. She's litigation support. She's a paralegal term litigation support, and she has great practical tips. She does a Fast Tip Friday email, takes about 5 minutes to read or listen to her video. She shows you how to do things. Scott Maloof is an attorney in New York I met through the ABA that specializes in social media litigation. And then, of course, Craig Ball with Ball in Your Court, his blog. Again, he's very practical. He puts out articles about once a month. I know that Paul and I follow him regularly. He gives a lot of really good advice and insight. And, of course, the Sedona Conference. If you're not already a member, it's open to attorneys, judges, and paralegals. Check that out. And I have an email every day through Google Alerts that just feeds eDiscovery articles to me. So I usually grab those first among my circle and get that out pretty quickly. And certainly legal technology news. So there's a lot of resources here for news, but the ones that I mentioned are the ones that I probably follow closer than the rest, and I recommend that to you as well.